I've been using rideshare apps for years, thinking the worst thing that could happen was getting a chatty driver. I was wrong. This happened 6 months ago. I'd been celebrating my promotion at a downtown bar with friends. By 2 a.m., I was ready to head home. My friends had already left, so I requested a ride. The driver arrived in a dark sedan. Clean car, decent rating, normal-looking guy in his 30s. "Sarah?" he asked. He seemed friendly, asking about my night as we pulled away. I was buzzed but not drunk, just tired. 10 minutes in, his phone rang through Bluetooth. I could hear everything. "Mike, thank God you answered," came a panicked voice. "It's me, your brother. I'm stranded near the industrial district. My car broke down and my phone's dying. Can you help me? I'm scared, man." Mike immediately pulled over. "Jesus, of course. Where exactly?" "Near the warehouses on 5th Street. Please hurry." Mike turned to me, face full of concern. "I'm so sorry, that's my brother. He's in trouble and I need to help him quick. It'll only take a few minutes. The area's not far from your route anyway." Something felt off, but the call sounded genuine. Mike seemed genuinely worried. "Okay," I said, though every instinct screamed to refuse. We drove 15 minutes into an increasingly desolate industrial area. Buildings grew sparse, replaced by empty lots and chain-link fences. I felt uneasy. "Are you sure this is right?" I asked. "Yeah, 5th Street. Should be just ahead." When we pulled into the lot, there was no broken-down car, just empty asphalt under flickering streetlights and a lone van in the shadows. "That's weird," Mike said, but his voice had changed. The concern was gone, replaced by something calculating. My blood went cold. Mike got out, leaving the car running. He walked toward the van, and 2 men emerged. They weren't panicked. They moved with purpose, all 3 converging. The realization hit like ice water. There had never been a broken-down car. The phone call sounded too perfect, too rehearsed in my memory. Mike's reaction had been too prepared. I fumbled for my phone as Mike walked back toward the car, the other men flanking him. I reached over, locked all doors from inside, then laid on the horn. The sound echoed through the empty lot. Mike's face changed completely, the friendly mask dropping to reveal something predatory. He yanked the door handle, motioning to the others. I kept one hand on the horn and dialed 911. "Please, I need help," I gasped, giving the location. "Someone's trying to abduct me." The men tried different doors, one producing a crowbar, but sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. They heard them too. Suddenly they scattered. Mike jumped into the van with the others, peeling out and leaving me alone. Police arrived within minutes. They found Mike had used a fake name and stolen plates. The phone call was a recording played through Bluetooth. They found the device later. He and his accomplices had been running this scheme for months, targeting bar patrons in different neighborhoods. Always the same story: family emergency, quick stop, isolated location. I was lucky. Other passengers hadn't been. I still use rideshares, but now I check license plates twice and never agree to detours. Sometimes the person you trust to get you home safely is the very person you should run from. And late at night in cars, I still think about that call. How perfectly desperate it sounded, how well practiced, how many times they'd used it before me. I travel for work a lot, and after years of overpriced airport parking, I figured rideshare apps were smarter. That was before what happened last October. I had a 6 a.m. flight to Denver, needing to be at the airport by 4:30. I booked my ride for 3:45 a.m. When the black sedan pulled up, I was waiting outside with my laptop bag and suitcase. The driver seemed professional, middle-aged guy in a button-down shirt, clean car, 5-star rating. "Morning, heading to the airport?" he asked. I noticed him glance at my luggage tags as he helped load my bags. "Yeah, thanks for the early pickup," I said, settling into the back seat. That's when I saw him angle his phone toward me, like checking GPS, but the screen was dark. I heard a subtle camera click. "No problem. Traffic's going to be a nightmare today," he said, pulling away. "Might have to take detours." At 3:45 a.m., the roads were completely empty. I could see straight down the highway, not a car in sight. But I kept quiet. 10 minutes in, he suddenly pulled over at a gas station. "Sorry, need to check something real quick," he said, stepping out with his phone. Through the window, I watched him walk away, typing frantically. He wasn't checking the car, he was texting someone. Back in the car, he made small talk. Business or pleasure? I mentioned a conference, and he seemed very interested in how long I'd be gone, where I was staying. Red flags started going up. We made 2 more stops over 20 minutes. Each time, he'd claim construction ahead or an accident blocking the road, but I could see the highway was clear. Each time, he'd step out with his phone. During the 3rd stop, I caught him photographing my license after he claimed he needed to verify my identity. My stomach dropped when I realized we weren't heading toward the airport anymore. The signs pointed to an industrial district I'd never seen. When I questioned him, he smiled in the rearview mirror. "Don't worry, there's construction at the main terminal. We're going to the alternate pickup point." We pulled into a deserted parking structure, empty concrete floors stretching everywhere. No airport shuttle, no signs, just shadows and engine echo. "The shuttle should be here in a few minutes," he said, but didn't turn off the car. Instead, he picked up his phone. I heard him say quietly, "Yeah, we're here." Level 3, northeast corner. That's when I saw headlights in my side mirror. 2 cars, maybe 3, moving slowly up the ramp toward us. My blood turned to ice. I grabbed my laptop bag and bolted before he could react. "Hey!" he shouted, but I was already running toward the emergency stairwell. Behind me, car doors slammed and voices shouted. Heavy footsteps echoed off concrete. I made it down 4 flights and onto the street before looking back. The parking structure was lit up, flashlights sweeping back and forth across levels. I called 911 from a 24-hour diner 6 blocks away. Police found the rideshare car abandoned, but the driver and others had vanished. What they did find was a notebook with details about dozens of passengers, flight times, hotel information, photos of luggage, copies of IDs. The detective later told me they'd uncovered an organized ring targeting business travelers. They'd use rideshare data to identify people carrying expensive equipment and travel documents, then lure them to remote locations for robbery. Some passengers had been held for hours while their credit cards were maxed out. I missed my flight that morning, but I consider myself lucky. The detective mentioned 3 other passengers had gone missing using the same driver. They never found them. That driver's face still haunts me. The way he smiled in that rearview mirror like he knew something I didn't. Because he did. I'm a software engineer at a cybersecurity firm, so I should have known better. But sometimes the most obvious threats hide in plain sight. It was a typical Thursday evening in October. I'd been pulling late nights on a major project and my car was in the shop. Around 9 p.m., I called a rideshare home. The app showed my driver as Marcus, 5-star rating. When the black sedan pulled up, Marcus seemed normal. Mid-40s, friendly smile, professional. He even helped with my laptop bag. "Long night at the office?" he asked as we pulled away. "Yeah, you know how it is in tech," I replied. "Oh, you're in tech? What kind of work?" His eyes met mine in the rearview mirror, genuinely interested. As we talked, I noticed my phone battery dying. Marcus immediately offered, "I've got a charger back there if you need it." Universal one, works for everything. I found the cable plugged into the seatback USB port. It looked legitimate, clean, professional. I plugged in my phone and watched it start charging. Marcus continued our conversation, asking about my company, what projects I worked on, even specific details about our security protocols. About 10 minutes in, my phone started buzzing with texts, spam messages, verification codes for services I didn't recognize, password reset notifications, promotional offers from random companies. I figured it was just bad timing. "Taking the scenic route tonight," Marcus said when I noticed we weren't going the most direct way. Construction on the main road. The messages kept coming. More random codes, friend requests from people I didn't know. My phone felt warm, which I attributed to charging. When we reached my apartment building, Marcus insisted on helping with my bags. As he handed me my laptop case, I noticed he held it just a moment longer than necessary, his fingers near the zipper where my work tablet was stored. "Have a great night," he said with that same friendly smile. "Stay safe out there in the cyber world." The next morning, I woke up to my bank calling. 3 unauthorized transactions had been attempted overnight. Then Work IT contacted me. Someone had tried accessing our client database using my credentials. My email was breached, cloud storage accessed, social media accounts compromised. It took authorities weeks to piece together the operation. Marcus wasn't his real name. The charger was a sophisticated data extraction device that could clone a phone's contents in under 20 minutes. Those random texts, his accomplices testing access to my newly compromised accounts in real time. The worst part was discovering my work tablet had been breached too. In those few seconds, he'd held my bag. He'd somehow accessed it. They'd copied client data, security protocols, everything. I still take ride shares sometimes, but I never accept help with bags anymore, and I always bring my own charger. Sometimes I wonder how many other professionals he helped with their dead phones. But what keeps me awake isn't the money lost or professional embarrassment. It's remembering how genuine he seemed, how grateful I was for his helpfulness. And sometimes, late at night, I still get those random verification codes.